Assalamualaikum to my beloved lecturer Dr. Maria and to the audience. Today, my group will be presenting on compound innovation using gamification as a visual auditory teaching aid to improve student participation by eliciting a physical response. Hello, my name is Muhammad Zulfadli bin Umar Luqman and I will be your presenter for this introduction of this presentation. In this introduction of this presentation, I will talk about the purpose of this presentation, the content of the presentation. Assalamualaikum to my beloved lecturer, Dr. Maria, and to the audience. Today, my group will be
different reasons. Let's say that the main reason is students have trouble retaining their attention. So in our sequence, that would be chain link 2, but you can start with that as chain link 1 and continue onward. Of course, the later processes may see a little deterioration in effectiveness because it is designed to build off each other, but it will still work with sufficient effectiveness. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
All right,
Yes.
Benjamin, thank you. So, are there any other questions from the audience? No? No more questions? All right, with that marks the end of Group Nine's presentation. With that, I leave the floor to the next moderator.
Okay, so hi, hello everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, so now moving on, we are going to group 3. Okay, look at the cover digital book, the implementation of differentiated strategy in helping students to complete language tasks. Okay, now I'm curious on how they are inventing this innovation. So I shall let Farha, Amrina, Johanna, and Hazika to present their works.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning I bid to all of the audience and also to our beloved lecturer Dr. Maria. Okay, so for my group consists of me, Nurfahar binti Muhammad Rasid, and also my group mates Nur Amrina binti Mustafa, Yuhana Asma binti Yusuf, and also Nur Hazika binti Ismail. So for our presentation for today is we're gonna present digital book, which is based on the issue the implementation of differentiated strategy in helping students to complete language tasks. Okay, so let's talk about the issue. Okay, so like I just said just now, the issue is the implementation of the differentiated strategy in helping students to complete language tasks. Okay, before when we were planning on before we start doing this assignment, we had to find out the issue that we have faced, and then after we find out the issue, then we need to look for solution. We need to plan on what we should do, and that's how we come up with our innovation, which is the digital book. So let's talk about the planning that we did for the innovation. We gathered in our beloved WhatsApp group. We talk about the issues that we faced, and we we mainly talk about the struggles that we face during our learning from home, where we need to teach from home using online platforms like Google Meet, and we face difficulties like students did not start to get their participation. There are no active engagement, and also it's very hard for them to complete the language task. So that's when we discuss uh, about the issue, and we found that we had the same problem, and the issue is very relatable to, I'm sure, to not just us but also to everyone here. And then we also look for information, which is there are lots of strategies for differentiated strategies, um, and we also find that differentiated strategies is very important uh, to in teaching students from different levels of proficiencies. As we all know, that all of the schools uh, would have students with lower proficiency, and also the ones that from higher proficiencies. So that's when differentiated strategy is very important to talk about. Yes. Okay, so to come up with the innovation, we also look for ways. Uh, ways to innovate our innovation, to make our innovation, and we found that digital book is the best. Then we also it also cater to students with different proficiencies. This is very important because as teachers, we need to have, we need to include everyone. Okay, not just the ones from higher proficiencies or lower proficiency. We can't exclude them. Okay, so after we found out what's the best for our innovation, then that's when we decide on the platform for to make our innovation. Okay, first our innovation is a digital book, which is which we need to use any types of apps. Okay, we decide on the apps. First, we decide on PowerPoint, but PowerPoint is a bit stiff and this is not that interactive. So we change it. We change to Prezi because it has a lot of animations. However, we find that it's not friendly that friendly. So we change it again. We change and change and change. Then we decided that Tumblr is the best platform for us to do the digital book. So as you can see, this in the screen on the screen right now, this is how our digital book looks like. Okay, there is a menu at the left side of the screen, and then the students can just click on the each buttons over there where where they can look for the explanation for is focus on grammar, which is a conjunction, and that's when you guys can look there. Um, the students can click on the conjunction. The students can click on the buttons to look for explanation of conjunctions, and they also can do some practices, and they can also play some games, which is to me can make the lesson very fun and also interactive. So for these parts, my friends are going to explain it for us. So yeah, let's go to the next part, which will be presented by Hazika.
Okay, hello everyone. Okay, as we know, digital book could be a good tool for learning. Because of this, there are a few things that we have identified as the strength of our innovation. Okay, first, it is easy to access because the digital book is easy to find. Since we only need to click the given link, and the learners could have access to everything regarding the coordinating conjunction. Everything is prepared in this digital book. The explanation, practices, even games that the learners could use to practice their understanding of the topic. Second, we have user friendly. The learners could use the digital book at ease and it's easy to find every content based on the list that everyone could see on the home page, such as explanation, practices, and games. They just need to click on the contents and they will be guided to the page. Thus, the learners will not have a hard time learning how to use the digital book because everything is arranged based on the content itself. And we also find it fun and entertaining with quick games and practices from websites that contain cute and interactive tools for the learners from being bored while increasing the learners' interest to learn the English language. For example, I even use some of these features with my students and they enjoy the games. The student even asked me to create more games with those features because they said that they started to like learning English because of that. Okay. For other than that, we also have a limitation regarding our innovation, which is the internet connection. Okay. The digital book might be free to access, but some students might have difficulty access and low internet connection. This is where the teachers need to play their role as the facilitator The teacher could change the explanation, practices, and games into hard copy material for the student. Thus, it might lose its purpose as a digital book because the student could not experience the application that we have compiled in the tablet. Okay, that's all for me. To the next presenter. Thank you.
Okay, so I will further explain about the explanation that we had included in our innovation. Okay, so this book consists of three parts, whereby the first part is the explanation, and the second part is the practice, and the last part is the game part. So, as we all know, that explanation is the most crucial part, as it is the part that student will get the most input from this part itself. Therefore, we had made it easier for them by coming up with these online notes for them to refer, as it is readily available for them with just internet access. So the topic that we have focused on this explanation on our lesson, digital lesson, is grammar lesson, whereby we focus on coordinating conjunction. We had provided them simple explanation by describing the fanboys, the forms, the function of fanboys, and also the structures on how for them to make sentences by using fanboys. So as you can see, this is the page on how they can see the explanation part Tumblr, in the Tumblr, because they can click the button easily, and they can easily access this digital book for them to refer to their notes online, as long as they have the internet access. So next, moving on to the next presenter, will be presenting on the practice part.
Okay, now I will be presenting about the practices and games. First, I will be explaining about the practices first. Okay, in this digital book, we have prepared some practices for the students and also for the teachers to use in the classroom. Okay, first platform that we choose to use is Bluecurve, and we have tried this platform with our students, and it is it is shown that this platform is very interesting for the students to learn coordinating conjunction in fun way. Okay, students do not have to pay to sign up for this platform. Besides, they can use this platform whenever they want. It's free. Therefore, students do not have any problem to sign up or use this platform whenever they want. Okay. Next, learning platform that we have prepared in this digital book is QuizIs. Okay, we believe that this platform, by using this platform, students can test their understanding through the online quiz that we have prepared. This platform is very user friendly, as it is also free. Students can use it for free, and students can use it anytime and whenever they want. And at the same time, they will have the urge to complete the test, complete the online quiz by getting high marks, because whenever they play this game, they feel they have the competitive spirit in them. This platform is very interesting as the students can play it very well. Okay, move to the games. We also have prepared some games in this digital book. Okay, there are also few games in this digital book. Okay, first and foremost is word wall. Okay, through word wall, students can learn coordinating conjunction through games. Okay, how do the game works? Okay, next, for example, as the slideshow is Miss Cheese, the students can choose their game mode based on their preferences, based on their liking. So whenever like they want to play this game, they can select the game that they want. Okay. Therefore, it is very interesting as students can learn coordinating conjunction in fun way without any pressure from the students or from their friends or the teachers. Okay, next, besides, we also use EduCandy. EduCandy is another platform that we choose to be included in our digital book. Okay, this platform is very interesting as the student can play games. They are just like word wall. There are many game modes that the students can select that so that they can play the game. Okay, the students find out that these games are easy to use and the students can have fun by make by learning through games. Okay. For example, these are the examples for the game modes so that the students can use to play it for recalling their prior knowledge after learning or after reading the notes that we have prepared in our digital book. Okay. Next. Next please. Okay, this is the example for our questions for our games in our digital book. I think this question is very suitable for our students from different proficiency as they can recall or they can learn more about coordinating conjunctions. I think that is all from our group. We hope that our innovation can help many teachers and students out there in their teaching and learning process. Thank you.
Okay, so that was such an interesting and knowledgeable presentation by our friends from Group 3. Okay, so now I will open to any questions from the audiences. If there are any, kindly open your mic and speak it out, or you can just type in your question in the chat box. Please do so.
All right. I have a question for Group
Okay.
5. All right. My question is, why do you think digital books are important in guiding the students to complete their tasks?
Okay. To answer that question, as you can see, our innovation is closely related to education, which focus mostly on game-based learning. And this innovation is created based on the student interest in today's advanced technology. For example, my own students, in my student interest to participate during my class mostly due to the interesting application that I use, such as quizzes and even booklet. They didn't even give before this. They didn't even give any response whenever I asked them question regarding the lesson verbally. But after I use this application, I can see the changes when I use the features such as graphic and animation that we have in the digital book. And they also able to engage into the lesson and it motivates them to learn about the topic better. That's why we believe that the digital book could help the student who have low interest in the English language to find joy and feel comfortable when they use this digital book. Seeing the application that we use for this digital book are easy to access, user friendly, fun, and entertaining. Okay, that's that is my answer. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
Hatika, for the clear explanation. Okay, so is there any question? Any extra question? If no, then it marks the end of the presentation from Group 3. Thank you for your cooperation. Moving on to the next group.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? So the next presentation is about
Right,
to begin.
hello everyone. So we are group number.
Okay, so So before that, Assalamualaikum and good day everyone.
Right, hello everyone.
So before the presentation begins, I would like to introduce this group members first, which is consists of Miss Aisha, Miss Adila, Miss Ain, and Miss Hanisa. So they will be presenting on the use of Venn diagram to teach compare and contrast essays. So without further ado, let's us welcome our presenters to present their innovation.
We are group number 7 and we will be presenting about the use of Venn diagram to teach compare and contrast essays. Okay, so in this presentation, the content will be divided into 5 units, which are the issues and method that we have decided to use, the benefits that we have found from the usage of this method, the past research that we have studied, the steps that are required to implement this method, and lastly, the result that we have found from this research. For the issue, the main issue of this research concerns the students' writing skills. Specifically speaking, it concerns the students' writing skills in terms of writing a compare and contrast essay. Secondly is the unorganized draft. Okay, so before the students write an essay, they are required to create a draft to jot down their ideas and information. However, the information and details that they have written were not strategically placed, which made it difficult for them to find their ideas and write their essay. Okay, next is the required translation, which was very time consuming. Okay, so the students needed to translate their draft from Bahasa Melayu, which they have used to draft down their first ideas, and they needed to translate it to English in order for them to write their essay. But this was very time consuming, and it was a waste of time because the students had a limited amount of time to complete their essay. Alright, so for the method that we have used in this research, the method used was the Venn diagram. Alright, so what is a Venn diagram? So according to John Venn, who was the creator or founder of this approach, the Venn diagram is a tactic that can be used to teach in learning objectives that have been written. So basically, a Venn diagram is a visual organizer that is used to compare and contrast defined concepts. Alright, so as an example, you can see the Venn diagram below, which is comparing and contrasting an apple to a tomato. Alright, so now moving on, we'll move to the benefits of the study.
On to our second point of the day, the benefits and advantages of using Venn diagram as one of the teaching methods to teach the students compare and contrast essay. So there are quite a number of benefits and advantages as this method has been going around for so long, and teachers have been using this method to teach the students writing skills. But these four benefits that I'm going to present are the ones that actually catch our interest the most when we are looking for information regarding Venn diagram. So first of all, the first benefit in using Venn diagram is it actually helps the students to generate ideas or to generate more ideas for their discussion. It also helps the students to organize their information easily and in an organized manner, because using Venn diagram where you have like two circles and it overlap each other, the students can visually see the comparison and the relationship between the two topics that they are going to discuss about, just like the pictures shown by the previous presenter. And it also helps, using Venn diagram also helps the teachers to understand the students' way of thinking, and it helps when the teachers need to correct the students' mistake. They actually know the reasons behind the mistakes or error that is done by the students. And using Venn diagram actually encourage the students to write more, because they are being introduced to a different way, a more fun and creative way of generating ideas for their writing. Next, we're going to look at the past research that has been done by researchers and teachers around the world. So there are thousands of research that has been done, but the one that I'm showing you right now are the three most recent researches done in 2019, 2020, and also in 2021. And all the researchers, especially the one that I'm showing you right now, all of them actually produce a positive result where the students actually are able to improve their writing skills after they use the Venn diagram as the teaching method or as one of the methods to help them generate ideas more easily. So more specific details will be provided in our report. Moving on, we're going to look at what are the steps needed when you teach or when you want to start writing using Venn diagram.
Okay, how do we use Venn diagram to teach our students compare and contrast essay? So here we have two scholars that have shared their ways in using Venn diagram before. So there's Wexler in semester and Clark in semester in 2013. Okay, so let's take a look at Wexler. So the first step he mentioned is to think of some ideas that can be used as a prompt to the answer. So you can use the 5W1H question like how, what, where, and so on. After that, the students will be asked to think of the description, the opinions, and then they will write that down under the key items. For the third step, which is to identify the concept or the key ideas. So what are the key ideas or key concepts that can be compared and contrasted? Now moving on to the fourth step, which is to list the ideas based on the Venn diagram. So the differences of the ideas will be put on the right and left side of the circle, while the overlap side of the circle, the middle one, is for the similarities of the two topics. Last but not least, draw the structure of Venn diagram by making circle for the concrete concept. Finally, the last step is to label the circle with the concept name. Now that is all from Wexler. As for Clark in semester 2013, there are only two steps. So the first step is to list the differences and then the similarities between the two topics given. So after we have given the two topics to the students, they will need to list all the similarities and then the differences of the two topics. And then for the second step, the last step is to organize the ideas. So the students need to organize the ideas based on the section of the Venn diagram. The right and left section will be for the different ideas, the ideas that are different between two topics, and then the overlap circle is for the similarities, the ideas that are similar for the two topic given. So that is all for the step on how to use Venn diagram.
Also, moving on to our next part, which is the result and feedback that was taken from the students and also other scholars and teacher based on the use of Venn diagram method to teach compare and contrast essay in ESL classroom. So I have used the method, which is Venn diagram method, to teach my students for Cemerlang to teach compare and contrast essay. First thing first, let us take a look at my students' work, which is here. As you can see, the first picture is the Venn diagram. The second picture is the essay based on the Venn diagram in the first picture. Moving on, I will be talking about the steps that I took to implement the use of Venn diagram method in my classroom. So the steps that I took is quite similar with the study that has been done by Wexler and Clark in 2013. So the first step is to read the questions carefully and know what the questions want to ask from you. Secondly, students identify the key item to be discussed. For example, in my task with my students, I ask them to look for the similarities and the differences between shop assistant and delivery man. Next step, students can start drawing their Venn diagram and to list down the differences and similarities between the two topics accordingly in the Venn diagram. So for example, they wrote the similarities between shop assistant and delivery man in the middle of the circle, whereas the differences is in the two circles. Students can label the circle accordingly. For example, circle A is shop assistant while circle B is delivery man, and they can proceed to write their essay after that. Moving on would be the results or feedback from the students according to their face expression and also their essay. First thing first, the use of Venn diagram method to teach the compare and contrast essay makes students to produce a better draft, no more messy draft. And next is they feel more motivated to write because they have already know the key items or the keywords that they need to write in their essay. Next, students can also understand the relationship between two topics, the similarities and also the differences more better because the use of Venn diagram shows it clearly. Last but not least, the use of Venn diagram enables students to write a better essay with better content and organization. All of the results collected were based on the students' reaction towards the use of Venn diagram in the classroom and also the content of their essay and organization. And this result is quite the same with a study that has been done by Mustika and Adnan in 2019 with the title of Teaching Writing Comparison Contrast Essay by using Venn diagram to second year students of English department. As a conclusion, the use of Venn diagram was significant in improving the students' writing proficiency in terms of writing content and writing organization. I think that is all from our group. So we would recommend the future teacher to use Venn diagram method to teach compare and contrast essay, and the material which is the Venn diagram is so easy to get and you can even create it by yourself. So that is all from our group. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for the informative and interesting talk just now. So now we have come to this question and answer session. And if you have any question regarding your innovation just now, you can submit your question verbally or you can type it in the chat box below. Okay? Is there anyone who would like to ask anything from this group just now?
Yes, I'm here. I want to ask a question. Hi. Okay. So I have a question which is the method suitable for students from specific level of proficiency, or is it for all students?
Okay, thank you for your question. So now let us hear the response from the presenting regarding this question.
Okay, thank you Farha for the questions and Anis, moderator. So our group, we believe that Venn diagram method is suitable for all students, no matter what their level of proficiency, for all students, because for example in my classroom, right, I have used this method to teach them the compare and contrast essay. And in my classroom, we have the low proficiency and like the intermediate level of proficiency. And I found out that all of the students, they find the method as an interesting tool, as it is easy for them to use because they can just list down the differences and also similarities, and they can also they can see the differences based on the Venn diagram, and it makes them feel more easy. It makes them feel easier to use, no matter even if they are from the level of proficiency. It is easy for them to use, and yeah, as I said just now, it organized the information visually. So to conclude, we believe that this method is suitable for all students, no matter their level of proficiency, because it brings the same benefits to all of them. I think that is all for the answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Adila, for your explanation. So, is there any extra question that the audience want to address to the presenter? Okay, so if not, we have come to the end part of our presentation. So once again, I would like to thank to all the presenters for the interactive talk just now, and the as well as the audience for the active participation. And hopefully, this presentation just now will be beneficial for everybody. Now, I will pass the mic to the MC to continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Anis. So, first of all, before we take a break, we would like to apologize for for the technical issue that we had during the before we start our second session just now. So, since it's already 11:38, we will have a short break. Starting from now until 11:50 a.m. So 10 minutes. And then we will meet again for the third session. Okay, so let's take a break and come back at 11:50. Thank you.
what to feel it. We get on, yeah, somehow we get by. We're alright, 'cause love runs deep, deeper than the darkest sea. So drop your guard. Why do you have to be so hard? Those neighbor dogs hold each other by the hand. One cut and they break. I'm trying to make you understand. Emotion is a wild thing. Together we can tame it. Look again, don't you realize it's in my eyes? Love runs deep, deeper than the darkest sea. So drop your guard. Why'd you have to be so hard? I wasn't asking you to open up, It's not my business anyway. It's just when you're hurting, it's like I'm always searching for the right words to say. We have an unspoken rule that you're
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen.
baby, I'm wrong.
Okay, so hello everyone and welcome back to our Innovation in Teaching and Learning seminar. So, Amira, before we start our presentation today, how many presentation left before we finish?
Okay, so we have group 6, group 8, group 10, group 2, and group 11. So we have another 5 presentation before we end. So shall we listen to the next presentation, Farah?
Of course, let's pass to the mic to Dekda, which is our next moderator. Okay, Dekda, let's go.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you to Amira and Farha. Okay, now let's continue to the next group. Okay, for the next presentation for the innovation, it will be presenting by our beautiful and handsome future teachers from group 6. The presenters are Miss Kazianita, Miss Joya Jacob, Miss Rosa Nunez, and Sir Fikri Ikin. I know all of you cannot wait with what they are going to present after this. Not to waste the time, I will introduce the topic first. The topic of their presentation is Classroom Reward System, which is Refunzel. Now, let's watch.
My name is Kezineta Pipson, and today our group will present our innovation on a classroom reward system called Refunzel. I believe as a teacher, we have encountered varieties of issues and problems every single day of our teaching and learning session. As for our team, the common issue that we have faced was student passiveness. What I meant by student being passive is the students are not actively engaged and less responsive towards the lesson. For instance, when the teacher asks the student to read a text, the student read the text. When the teacher asks the students to answer a question, the students can answer the question. But that's it. No further question from the students or opinion of their own. They did not have the curiosity of learning. They just accept everything that they have seen or been told. Therefore, our group have come up with an innovation on a classroom reward system called Refunzel, which is reward for fun, and Zol for puzzle. The purpose of this innovation is to give extrinsic innovation to engage the students throughout the lesson. Well, according to the operant behavior of B.F. Skinner, specific consequences are associated with voluntary behavior. The picture on the left tells that reward introduced to increase behavior, whereas the picture on the right tells that punishment introduced to decrease a behavior. As for our group, we focus on introducing rewards to increase students' behavior throughout the lesson.
Well, hello there to everyone who's watching. My name is Fikrikin, and I'm the second presenter for our group. Well, I will explain to you how this invention works. But before that, let me talk about the purpose and the objective of this invention. Number one, the purpose is this is an innovative reward system that combines three elements of learning preference, which is audio, visual, and kinesthetic, and students should collect 3 puzzle pieces of their own and give 3 other puzzle pieces to their friends to collect all the points for the objective. All right, the puzzle piece function as the students collected point. 1 puzzle pieces equates to 2 points, and this innovative also emphasized on collaborative as a whole class because the reward is given to the whole class. Next. All right. Let me tell you step by step on how this will work. In the beginning of the class, right, when the student enters the class, each of them will take 3 random puzzle pieces in a box and a random board with a model picture. Bear in mind that the puzzle pieces do not belong to them. They belong to their friends. So after each stage, excluding the set induction and closure, not the activity for the lesson, but these stages in the lesson, the teacher will allow the students to exchange puzzle pieces after each stage of the lesson. So each student gets 3 puzzle pieces that do not belong to them, as I mentioned. So the objective is for them to collect their own puzzle and also to give again 3 random puzzle pieces to their peers. Next. And there will be a board, just like a jigsaw puzzle. You know, when you fit in all the puzzle pieces in there to complete one picture. And in the board, there will be a small model pictures on each of the students' board as guide to scout their own puzzle pieces. So apart from knowing what pictures that they need to find, they also know walk around to give out the random puzzle pieces to their friends as well. As you can see, this is based on their performance on the whole stage. So the time given to exchange will differ depending on their engagement during the stages of the lesson. So we suggested here 30 seconds for average engagement, 1 minute for good engagement, and give them 90 seconds or 1 minute and a half for excellent engagement. Okay, next. All right. So as you can see, the game works this way. The longer the duration, the higher the chance of exchanging the puzzle pieces because it is given randomly. So as you can see, the students will have different puzzle pieces. But at the same time, when they are given the time to exchange, they will walk around to find, where's my puzzle pieces? And then they also give their friends the puzzle pieces. So it will be a game of, you know, looking at the pictures. So that's the visual, and then also shouting the names, hopefully not shouting, for the audio, and also walking around to give out the puzzle pieces. So by the end of the lesson, each student has collected 3 puzzle pieces to complete a picture. So hopefully you get how it works. My friends will continue the presentation. Thank you.
Greetings, I am Rosanne. Now it's time to tell you the steps on how
To create the refunzel, you will need to prepare the materials such as hot glue gun, scissors, Velcro tape, A4 size cardboard, and A4 size clear cover. Next. There are three parts in creating this refunzel, which are cardboard, the pouches, and puzzle pieces. Next. Okay, for the first part is the board. Take the A4 cardboard, cut it into half so it will become A5 size. So stick a small size of Velcro tape on the cardboard as shown in the picture. Okay, next. The second part is the pouches. Prepare A4 size clear cover. Cut it in half. The A4 clear cover will then be cut into pieces because there will be three puzzle pieces as well. The clear covers work as pouches to insert the puzzle pieces. Thus, it is easy to use any picture as puzzle pieces as desired. Next, the edges of the clear covers will be taped with Velcro tape using the hot glue gun. The board will have the same complementary Velcro tape as shown in the example. So this will create an easily attached and detachable pouches for the puzzle pieces. So moving on, the third part, next slide. Okay, the third part is the puzzle pieces. You can find any picture that you desired or that you want to use in your class or in your lesson. What you need to do is print the picture in A5 size. Cut the picture into three pieces. And finally, insert the pictures in the pouches respectively. And then you can decorate your puzzle board, also known as refunzel, as you desired. Okay, that's all from me.
Okay, so hello everyone, I am Joyna. So I will be presenting on the benefits and limitations of our innovation. So as we know, every innovation has their own pros and cons. And firstly, I will talk about the benefits of the product of our innovation. The first benefits of our innovation is it involves three learning styles that helps the student to be an active participant in the classroom, which are the kinesthetic, visual, and auditory. Kinesthetic learning is a learning style in which learning takes place by the students carrying out physical activities. Visual learning is a learning style where the students or learners need to see information in order to process it. While auditory learning style is a learning style in which a person learns through listening. This innovation involves three of these learning styles as it involves movement to exchange the puzzle, which is kinesthetic, and it involves visual as the students will use pictures, and lastly, it involves auditory response when the students try to exchange the puzzle. The second benefits of our innovation is the ownership of the experience. This innovation allows the students to take ownership of the whole experience because they are the ones who collect their points based on their performance on the level of their participation. And then next, this innovation also encourages class collaboration. The innovation creates a collaboration environment in which students engage in a common task where each individual depends on and is accountable to each other. This innovation will need the class to collaborate as a whole to earn their point. This innovation also can be used as a signal for breaks. In every stage of the lesson, teacher will make use of the innovation at the end of every stage to indicate lesson breaks. And last but not least, this innovation is beneficial to the teachers as it is reusable. The materials can be reused again for the future point collection as a reward system. Moving on to the limitations of the product. Firstly, this product will take time, energy, and money. So the teacher needs to take into account about the time to produce, the energy and money to prepare the materials. Next, the product could be inconvenience as it is a nuisance to spend time just to collect the point rather than the teacher simply gives the point to the students. This product also would be impractical during this time as the product cannot be used during this pandemic as the students are not allowed to move around due to the standard operating procedure. And next, the situation in the classroom will be chaotic as the students need to move around and of course, they will shout to each other to collect the point. And last but not least, this product also can be a distraction to the students as it can disturb the students' focus during the lesson because they will be excited to collect the point at the end of every stage of the lesson. So in conclusion, although this innovation is beneficial to help the students to be an active learner, we also need to take into account the limitation of the product. But we hope that this innovation will help teachers to improve students' participation in the classroom. So that's all from us. Do you have any question?
Wow, such a good and amazing presentation. They have shared something that is very useful for future teachers like us. Okay, now let's moving on to the Q&A session. Is anyone would like to ask to this group, to ask any questions to this group? You can either use your microphone or just type on your chat box, okay? Anyone?
I have a question.
Okay,
So
Natasha.
you have mentioned that one of the limitations is the class will be chaotic. How will you overcome it?
Okay. Representative from group 6.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Okay. How we can overcome this problem? First of all, we can set rules. For example, no shouting too loud, and also do not push your friend. Okay. And after that, maybe we can set up punishment if the rules is broken, such as deduction of time allocation. And we also can remind the students that this is a team effort, not just individual, because everyone will get the reward. So they need to collaborate. That's all.
All right, thank you, Kezi, for the answer. Okay, such a brilliant answer,
Assalamualaikum
and I
and hi.
hope all of you can use this method in future because I think they have come out with the best way on how to prevent student passiveness. I guess that is all from me. I will pass the mic to Sir Taufik. Okay, Sir Taufik?
Okay, thank you, Nurul Shahada Gomez. Now, let's move on to the
Welcome.
next group, which will be presented by Andrina, Divya, Natasha Eng, and Umi. And their topic of presentation will be using vocabulary and idioms in enhancing students' writing. So, let's begin to watch their video.
Hi, I am Umi Serena binti Salahuddin. Assalamualaikum and hi, I am Umi Serena binti Salahuddin. So for today, I will be presenting about the issue of action research. So we have chosen using vocabulary and idioms to enhance students' writing as our topic for this action research. So let me tell you a little bit about the writing problem among students. They often use wrong grammar, unsuitable word choice, and it makes their sentence unreadable in the end because of all these elements. So there are many reasons for students writing problem, but let me tell you about the four most common one. The first one is they struggle for the right word, which is vocabulary, because they do not have a wide lexicon of the English language. So whenever they have to write an essay, it becomes hard for them to search for the right vocabulary. But when they pick up a vocabulary to use, the word choice is wrong. It did not fit into the essay. The second one is they fail to structure ideas effectively. They do not have an idea on the elements of writing. They do not know how to organize the central ideas and how to use supporting materials in their essay. The third one is they relies on mother tongue translation. They relies on Malay language to translate it into English, but often it becomes unreadable for us as readers. The fourth one is lack of interest because they thought that English is hard, so they do not like when it comes to writing compared to the other three areas of English. So how do we think to overcome the problem? So our group has decided to design an armor card writing kit. This writing kit focuses on idioms and vocabulary. We hope to encourage them, to motivate them in learning how to write, because they are doing it in a group work. By doing it in a group work, it will reduce the struggle, stress, and feeling of anxiety whenever it comes to writing, because they are doing it in a relaxed setting. So to tell you more about the plans of this armor card writing kit, I will pass it on to Natasha, who will tell you in details about this armor card writing kit. So thank you.
My name is Natasha and I will be continuing with the presentation. So I will be sharing about the plan of the innovation. So these are the planning stages. The first one is identifying the issue. The second one is come up with a suitable topic. Number 3, brainstorm for the innovation. And lastly, create the innovation. Okay, the criteria of the kit. So these are the 3 things being put into consideration in creating the kit for the innovation. So the first part is the content. After we have identified the issue and also the topic, so the 3 elements of the content are, first one is vocabulary, idiom, and also grammar rules. And then we will follow up with the worksheets to test out the effectiveness of the cards. And then appearance. So in order to make the students feel stimulated and also interested in learning, especially in writing, so the cards must have the interesting visual in terms of eye-catching color, shapes, and also the size of the words must be readable, as it is in the form of card. And then for the mobility, the card will be have in 2 versions. This is the soft copy version and also the hard copy version, which will come in a box. So, what is the innovation? The name of the innovation is Armor Card Kit, which is suitable for writing. It comes with 2 parts, which is the first one is armor card, which is in the form of card, which have 3 elements, as mentioned previously, which is vocabulary, idiom, and also grammar rules. And the second one is the armor challenge. So, for the armor challenge, it will contain the worksheets and activities that can be done by the students. So, I will pass the presentation to my group member, Andrina, to explain more about the innovation. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Andrina Peter and today I will be sharing our group's innovation in this video. So for the innovation, we have come up with an interesting kit which is to overcome the issue which is related to students writing. So in terms of innovation, our group have come up with a learning kit which is called Armor Card Kit. Armor Card is basically means a defending method which students can use to improve their writing. So this card, there are many content in this card, and I will be explaining to you. Okay, there are 4 main contents. First is vocabulary.
where there are many cards with a list of vocabulary from 6 different themes with its meaning and also its usage. And 2 vocabularies will be picked for each theme. Secondly, for idioms, there are idioms card where the students have to find out one idiom for each theme so that the students can use it for their writing or essays, which make their writings more quality too. And thirdly is grammar rules. For grammar rules, there will be a list of grammar formats rules where it will have its explanation. And each grammar rules will be in each card so the students can easily learn it. And we also believe that this armor card kit is very helpful and also attract the students' interest to learn more for writing. And fourth will be hot question, which will be presented by the next presenter. So these are the examples of the cards. First, we look onto the vocabulary. So one of the card is for technology team, where it have 2 words. First is online shopping and second is computer literate. So this is how the card will basically be. So the students can learn different forms of words from a theme. And also they have their meaning and also when to use it. So the students' vocabulary skill will be more improved. And secondly, idioms. These are also one of the cards where the students will have to find idioms for each theme. And thirdly is for grammar rules. For grammar rules, as you can see, they have subject, verb, object, link ideas with conjunction, and also tips for them to memorize the grammar rules. So this is how the card will be. So we make it more colorful and also with pictures and all that to attract the students more. In terms of storage, we have a soft copy and also hard copy. As you can see that the cards will be in PDF form. So for soft copy, we can upload them in P Cloud Drive. It's basically the same as Google Drive, but it's quite different, where also we can store files, videos, and documents. This is for soft copy. And for hard copy, as it is in card form, we can have arranged a box there for the students to pick the cards from the box. So we hope that this arcade will be a stepping stone for the students to learn the writing more. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Divya Janani. So now I'm going to present more about our innovation. So this will be the last stage of our innovation, which is we're going to test on our students. The main topic of our testing will be armor challenge. So this is the icon of our innovation. So there are activities for students to challenge themselves in writing skill. So basically, we are going to test whether the cards that we created for the students was effective or not, were effective or not. So we're going to test that from the activity. So the first activity will be an individual work. So this is like the apply. They have to apply the knowledge in the picture. There will be some boxes given, and also there will be given example of dialogue in prompts. So they have to apply. They have to apply the dialogue in the correct picture, the correct box accordingly. And this is basically for vocab. And then the second activity will be they have to be in the groups, and then this activity is same as the previous one, but this one they have to create the activity on their create the dialogue on their own. Sorry, and then they will be given a comic strip, and then they have to create the dialogue by using correct vocab, correct idioms, and then good grammar. So from this activity, we will know whether the cards were effective or not. And then the third activity is related to the coronavirus. This is to give awareness to the students as well too. And then this is also the group activity too. They have to create a poster about coronavirus, and then they have to come up with idioms based on the poster they had created. So they have to. So this activity mainly on idioms. And then the fourth activity will be scrapbook. They have to where they have to create scrapbooks. Basically, they will given themes, certain themes. So from the themes, we have to create many words that they can. So we can test their vocab here. For example, people they have to create or find words that related to the people, such as affectionate, considerate, and compassionate. So this is the example of our activity. So we believe that our activities cover up all the three elements that we have learned that we teach in our that we created in our cards: idioms, vocab, and also grammar. So that's all from me. Thanks. And do you have any questions? Me? Thanks. And do you have any questions?
Wow, what a great slides on enhancing students' writing. All right, so let's move on to the Q&A session. You may ask question after this, and it will be answered by Group 8, which is anyone from Group 8 from Andrina, Divya, Natasha, or Miss Selina. Okay, so I open up the stage for the listeners to ask question. You can even type, and I will say the question. Hello, anyone? Do you have any question to ask to Group 8?
Okay, I will ask the question. I have a question.
Okay, Dorothy, sure, here.
Okay. So, is your kid effective during the online teaching? Since right now it's online teaching, it's PDPR, and how would you use it with your students?
Hello. So I'll be answering the question. Yes, it is effective since it has both online and a hard copy version. When it's come to online, we will have this system called P-Cloud, where we store all of the cards, and students won't find difficulties in searching the cards. So they also can print whenever they want. And also when it's come to offline, they can fill the cards as pocket notes. So that's how we use it, and I think it's effective for them to use. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya. I hope that answered your question, Dorothy. So anyone else? Do you have any question? Calling 1, calling 2, calling 3. Okay, if that's no question, thank you for Group 8 for your presentation. Let's move on to the next group. I will pass on to the next moderator, Azliza.
Okay, thank you, Taufik. So can you listen to me? Can you hear me clearly? Okay. Okay, so hi everyone. So next group to present will be Group 10. But before we proceed with the presentation, I would like to introduce Group 10's members, which are Dorothy Bulan Linjau, Mas Shanza, Mas Yunan, and Muhammad Shafiq Norsham. Their title of presentation is Cooperative Learning by Gamification Speak Uno. Without further ado, let's start with the presentation.
One. Hello everyone. So we are Group 10 and we are going to present our innovation entitled Cooperative Learning by Gamification Speak Uno. So if you are wondering what that is, do stay tuned until the end of our presentation and you will see what that is. So before we start, let us introduce ourselves. I am Dorothy Bulan.
And Mashrunan.
And Xianzhe.
I am Shafiq.
So we are group 10 and we are going to present our innovation. So so let's start with our friend Mashanzel. The floor is yours.
Okay, let me continue the presentation. So our topic is cooperative learning by gamification. Speak Uno. Okay, next. So we are focusing on the 21st century learning, which is the cooperative learning. So we use cooperative learning in the speaking classroom. Okay, next. Okay, the issue is the lack of participation from students during the speaking lesson. So this is because students first they lack of confidence. So due to the lack of confidence, students are not willing to express themselves in English, and they would rather answer the question together or wait for the teacher to point out the names before raising their hand. Also, students are passive learners. The students were also afraid of the teacher's question and were forced to answer and participate in the learning process. So the low level of student participation in the speaking classroom is a major problem in ESL classroom. So as a result, we take steps to assess the teacher in increasing student engagement in speaking classes by utilizing cooperative learning and gamification to encourage students to speak confidently and courageously in the classroom. So next, pass to the Mashruna.
One. One. Hello everyone. So we are group 10 and we are going to present our innovation entitled Cooperative Learning by Gamification, Speak Uno. So if you are wondering what that is, do stay tuned until the end of our presentation and you will see what that is. So before we start, let us introduce ourselves. I am Dorothy Bulan.
And Mashrunan.
And
Learning and lack of participation from students during the speaking class, we consider that cooperative learning and gamification will be a
Taufik, is everything okay?
So now I'm going to continue the presentation. So for the
Taufik?
solution of our issue lack of
Yeah, sorry, my line got disconnected. I don't know why.
Okay, it's okay, but can you please set the presentation in full screen so the
Yeah, yeah.
audience can see
I,
better?
I must just reload. Which minute just now?
participation from
It's okay, Taufik. You can just start from here. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I play.
students during the speaking class, we consider that cooperative learning and gamification will be a suitable approach to solve this problem. So
So first, cooperative learning is an effective educational approach that aims to organize classroom activity and into an academic and social learning experience. In the general cooperative learning classroom, a group of students work together and achieve a learning goals and complete a specific task or assignment together. And cooperative learning can bring more opportunity for all kinds of students to participate and increase and practice their language skill in the discussion, which has a very positive impact on the students' learning. And for gamification of education is a developing approach for increasing learners' motivation and engagement by incorporating games design elements in the educational environment. Gamification in learning involves the use of game-based elements such as pair competition, teamwork, and scoring table, and promote participation and help students absorb new information and test their knowledge. There are many proven benefits for using gamification in the classroom, such as the class will be more interesting and engageable, and students may find their intrinsic motivation for the learning, and they can feel that they have the ownership of the study, so they will have more relaxed atmosphere in the class. Students are generally more comfortable in the game environment, so they will be more proactive. However, we found that there are still some students are not willing to participate in the English speaking class because maybe they are shy or they don't understand how to answer the question. So our group hope to increase the low proficiency students participation through encouraging the proficient students collaborate the low proficient students and help them practice their language skill. So based on this idea, our group start to plan our innovation activity. So let's move to my friend Shafi.
Okay, in designing this activity, we need something that is students will be able to access, and it is fun for the students, and it is also allowed in school. At first, we thought we were going to do online games, but then students aren't allowed to bring their mobile phones to school. And then we thought of doing blackjack cards, but then it is prohibited in schools. So we need to do something with traditional games, traditional board games. That's why we came out with Uno. Next, I will pass it to Dorothy.
So as Shafiq has mentioned, thank you, Shafiq. Yes, this game is designed for face-to-face class. It's suitable for face-to-face class. This game is called Speak Uno. Speak Uno. Okay, so this is adapted from the original card game Uno. Next slide. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the family card game Uno, or you have played it with your friends or your family, and yeah, you know this game. So this game is adapted from Uno, but we turn it educational into like a more educational context. All right, next slide. Okay, so now let's talk about the game rules of this Speak Uno. Now, this Speak Uno game is similar to the original Uno game, but next slide. Instead of playing it individually, this game will be played in teams that consist of 4 members. Remember, we wanted to promote and enhance students' participation through cooperative learning. So we wanted the less proficient students and the active students or the more proficient students to work together. So that is the goal. So that is the goal for creating this game. So the skill is for the skill. This game is focused on speaking skill. And the purpose of this game, yes, as I mentioned before, to enhance students' participation during lessons. Now, we have our problem is that we have found that some students the less proficient students, sometimes they are shy or feel either intimidated to use English, especially when it comes to speaking lessons. So usually the active students tend to dominate the whole lesson, and less proficient students are always not given the chance to even say anything, and there's lack of participation from them. So we wanted to fix that problem to get these active students and these less proficient students to collaborate together. So to promote and enhance their participation during a speaking lesson. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so now the gameplay of this game, how it's played. So this game can be played up to 10 teams at maximum. Okay, it follows the the number of the Uno cards. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So if you can make up until 10 teams, so you can, each team will represent the number of these cards. Okay, so you have team 0, you have team 1, you have team 2, you have team 3, 4, and so on until 9. So each member in the team must choose a color role which is according to the 4 main colors of the Uno cards, which is red, blue, yellow, and green. So each member in the team will have to represent each of the 4 colors. Okay. Then each team then must select one member to be the card player for their teams. So for example, our team, my team consists of Mashanza, Mashunan, and Shafiq. So let's say I'm red, Mashanza will be blue, Mashunan will be yellow, then Shafiq will be green. So among us, we choose a card player, the card player. So let's say the card player is me. So my job is to play the cards. I will be the one to draw cards, to put the cards on the table, you know. So that's the job of the card player. All right, next slide. Okay, now the basic game of the rules is of course similar with the original Uno card game, but the teacher in charge must select a theme or a topic for each round of the game. So for example, the teacher selects a theme on about food. Okay, so the card drawn by a color and number will determine the team's turn. If a team's card number is drawn out on the table, the member of that team with the color roll on the drawn card must be the one to verbally speak in full sentence within a time limit based on a theme or topic given by the teacher. So for example, if on the table is number 2 and it's green, right? So team number 2, which is for example my team, it's my team's turn. I'm team number 2 and I'm green. So I will be the one to represent my team, and I will have to speak in full sentence, correct sentence, based on the topic or theme of that round. So for example, about food, I will have to say something about food. For example, I will say, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Okay. So then move on to the next team. Okay, if a team member failed to speak within the time limit, their card player must add extra card to their team as penalty. So the team that finishes off their card first must say speak Uno game to indicate that they have successfully drawn out all their cards and be the first winner of the game. So in the original Uno card game, right, you have to say Uno game in order to indicate that you have finished and you have won the game. So in this game, in Speak Uno, you have to say Speak Uno game. So the rest of the team remaining will continue to compete until the last team remaining. So of course, prize will be given to winning teams who declare Speak Uno game first. So there will be the first team winning, second, third, and so on. So the team will be awarded accordingly to who finishes first. All right, next slide. Okay, the teacher may change the theme or topic for each round to avoid repetition from students when it's their team's turn to speak. So after every turn will finish. A new round will begin after a team has declared speak Uno game. So for example, if my team has finally finished off card and we've said speak Uno game, our team is not eliminated, but we've finished, we've won. So then the whole game will reset and change to a new team. The teacher will have to give a new team so that students will it won't be repetitive. They won't talk about food all the time. Maybe this time the second round will be about sports. So yeah. All right, next slide. All right, what about the wild cards now? So you know that there's wild cards in the Uno game, right? So there's wild 4, there's wild, draw 2, skip, reverse. I'm sure you know all the rules to this what they mean. So in this Speak Uno, these cards still play the same role, all right? Next slide. The use of the wild cards applies similar to the original Uno card game. If a team's number is drawn out on the table, the card player of the team may use any wild cards the team owns to deflect their turns. So for example, if it's my team's turn, but we had a wild card. So let's say we have a skip. So we give skip. So then our team won't have to speak. So it's the next team that is after us that needs to take their turn. Okay, all right. Next slide. All right, so what if the team draws out this wild card? Okay, so if a team deflects their turn with the use of this card, the next team must select their member of the color role selected by the other team who used this card. So for example, if Rahma's team draws this card during her turn, which means the next team that is after her team will have to send a representative based on the color that her team chooses. Let's say if Rahma's group team chooses green color, so the next team who is playing the color role green or representing the color role color green will have to speak for their team. All right. So next slide. I think that is all from us. Okay, that is all from us. I hope you are clear with our explanation on the game. So thank you so much for watching.
Okay, thank you to all presenters for such wonderful presentation and innovation. It is very creative of you to use Uno cards to increase students' participation during the lesson, especially for speaking skills. Okay, now let's move on to our Q&A session. This session is open to our audience to ask any question to the presenters by turning on your microphone or type it in the chat box. So is there any question?
Yes, I have. Can you hear me?
Yes, Chet, we can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you. So, for the presenters, your innovation is focusing on speaking skill, right? So, my question is, besides speaking, is this game applicable for other skills like writing or yeah? So that's my question. Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Chet, for the question.
Okay, thank you, Jay. So my answer is that other than speaking skills, this innovation can be used in writing, but it will take a longer time because students need to write. So instead of giving them 10 seconds, you can change it to 30 seconds. But it will make the lessons longer than what it is intended. Okay, that's all from me. Does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Shafiq, for the answer and also Chet for the question. So is there any more question for this group? No? So with that, it marks the end of Group 10's presentation. Now I would like to pass it to our next moderator, Fikri. That is all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Azliza. That was such a wonderful presentation. We'll be continuing with our second last presentation with our respective presenters, Nur Shahada, Shukriya, Izatul, and Chair Nur Anis. And their topic will be on the implementation of game-based learning in classroom activities to trigger students' engagement. So without further ado, let us welcome them to the floor.
Hello everyone. Okay, today me Nurul Shahada binti Hussein and my friends Isatul Nazira Nasha, Shukriya Anissa and Chinur Anis Idina. Okay, we are going to present about the implementation of game-based learning in classroom activities to trigger students' engagement. And the issue is the use of jigsaw puzzle game to enhance students' active participation in ESL classroom. First and foremost, I will talk about issues and problems faced. There are 4 issues and problems. First is students' participation. Second is materials. Third is implementation of 21st century learning. And the last one is production stage. For students' participation, it is related to activity created
Okay, we're experiencing a bit of a technical issue, so we'll just wait first for the
thinking,
technical.
problem solving,
Okay.
collaboration, communication, and creativity. And the last one for production stage, this is where the problem or issues encountered. For the first issue, which is students' participation, okay, we can see that there was lack of students' participation during the lesson. This is because of type of teaching activity used by the teacher, whereby the activity could not attract students' interest or students' participation. The second one is the materials used. Okay, the materials used should stimulate students' interest in learning. This is because students love fun learning. Okay, during the lesson, we found out that the teacher only used paper and picture, whereby these materials, students already use with these materials. And then the use of materials that is user-friendly and activity should be implemented during the lesson. The third one is the implementation of 21st century learning. Teachers should create activity that can improve student skills, whereby the activity must involve collaboration, communication, critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. With the activity, the teacher can provide students with necessary skills, whereby students can practice the skills and become successful in future. The last one is for production stage. This is where the problem or the issue is encountered. This is because we can see that students did not acquire 21st century skills well, and there was lack of students' participation during the lesson.
Hello everyone, my name is Izatul Nazira and I will continue the presentation from here. As my friend said, that we encounter a problem with the students' participation in the classroom activities. So we come to a solution that we want to create a game-based learning. The game-based learning that we create, we come to a game which called a jigsaw what was coming. The jigsaw what was coming is inspired by the jigsaw game, the jigsaw puzzle game. So when we create the game, we want to create a game that are attractive and motivating, user-friendly, and also fun and challenging. The game, which is the jigsaw puzzle, is attractive and motivating because we use different colorful pictures which can attract the students' attention and interest. The game will also motivate the students due to the competition environment. Besides that, our materials that we use in the game are also user-friendly. We create materials that are easy for the students to use, learn, and understand. It is also convenient because teachers can carry and use them easily anywhere and anytime. It can also be used to teach other subjects, as teacher can just change the questions and the answers based on the topic that they want to teach. The game that we create also has the fun and challenging part in it. Because it is a game-based activity, thus the students will feel more competitive to win the game. This will ensure students' participation in class. The game also challenges the students' thinking and problem-solving skills from the questions given. The materials that we use in these games, there are three. The first one is jigsaw puzzle, audio podcast. Audio podcast contain the question which contain 10 questions, 10 different questions. And also the third one is envelopes. In the envelope, there will be the puzzle pieces with a list of answers. The puzzle pieces will be labeled with a number and according to the list of the answers there. The rules of this game are: first, assign the students to a group of 4 or 5, and then assign each student in each group a number. For example, from number 1 until number 5, according to the number of students in each group. After the students have been assigned a number, each group will get a random jigsaw puzzle with different features. Each group will get one jigsaw puzzle board frame and in one envelope contain the puzzle pieces and a list of correct and wrong answers. On the back of each puzzle piece is labeled with number from number 1 until 15. And how to play this game? The first step is each group will have 30 seconds to check on their puzzle pieces and the picture they get. After 30 seconds, each group must be ready to listen to an audio about the question that they must answer. Teacher will play the audio statement or questions, and then each group must listen to the audio carefully. Then teacher will call a random number from number 1 until 5. The students with that number from each group must search the puzzle pieces with the correct answer from the envelope given. And then they must search for the correct answer from the list and pick the puzzle pieces with the same number. The students can discuss with their group mates about their answers. And then each group will be given 2 minutes to search for the correct answer for each question given. After 2 minutes, teacher will immediately play the second audio. Repeat step 3 until step 7 until the students manage to collect 10 puzzle pieces to complete their jigsaw puzzle. After they have completed collecting all 10 puzzle pieces, they must arrange the puzzle pieces on the board frame that they get. The first group that able to complete their jigsaw puzzle with the correct picture will be the winner. So that's all from me. Thank you.
There are 4 rationales for this game called Jigsaw What Was Coming. The first rationale is it is based on the 21st century scale. This includes the teamwork, thinking skill, and also the problem-solving skill. This is because the students will build up their teamwork when working together in the group. The students will discuss together and think for the answer to solve the problem given in the question played by the audio. The second rationale for this game is it is a game-based learning. The lesson that implements this Jigsaw What Was Coming game will be more competitive, interactive, and the student is allowed to have more fun when gaining knowledge. This game was initially inspired by Jigsaw puzzle game. However, it was innovated by adding some questions for the students to answer in order for them to find the correct pieces to complete their puzzle. Next, the third rationale is it is a motivating game. The gaming element itself will enhance the students' participation and their competitive spirit because they are bound to the time limit to answer each question. Last but not least, the fourth rationale for this game is it is user-friendly. This game is very flexible and can be played at any setting, such as in classroom or multimedia room. The teacher only needs a speaker in order to play the questions audio to the students. Other than that, this Jigsaw What Was Coming game not only can be used for English subject, but also other subjects such as mathematics or science. How? The teacher only has to change the audio for questions and also the list of answers at the back of the puzzle pieces.
Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. My name is Shukra Anissa and I'll be showing you the tutorial of this game. So teachers, are you ready? First, you need to group your students into 4 to 5 students. Second, each group you must distribute the materials which are an envelope, tag kit, and puzzle frame. Third, in the envelope there will be 15 to 20 puzzle pieces and a list of answers. Ask students to look at the back of the puzzle pieces. Each puzzle pieces will have a number which relate to the answer list. The students need to choose the right answer and select the same numbered puzzle. Then, in each group, you number the students into 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The role of the teachers is you will play the audio and questions for about 2 or 3 times. Each group will need to listen to the audio and the question. Then you will call the student's number. For example, number 4. The number 4 students will be given 2 minutes to find the answer. Other members can help too. Then the process will continue until all 10 questions are completed. After all the groups have 10 puzzle pieces, they will compete with each other to complete the puzzle. The group who finish first and have the right answers will be the winner. And that's it for today. Hopefully, you and your students will have a great time in the classroom. To end our presentation, we will be showing our poster at the end. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much to the presenter. What an informative presentation on game-based learning activity and innovation inspired by jigsaw puzzle that is engaging and also attractive. All right, we open the floor to the audience to ask any question, if you have any.
Hello, Mr. Moderator, sir.
Okay.
So my question is, why choose jigsaw puzzle game?
All right, to the presenter, your question is why did you choose jigsaw puzzle?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, sir.
All right, thank you for the question. Okay, one of the main reasons we choose jigsaw puzzle is of course it can be played in groups. It also promotes teamwork to answer questions and arrange the puzzle. Secondly, we know that not many schools have stable internet connectivity and less technologies, especially in rural areas. Thus, it is convenient for the teachers to use something physical as materials in classroom. Third, because it promotes audio, visual, and kinesthetic skills which all learners needed. They can listen, search for the right puzzle, and arrange them. And the last one is jigsaw puzzle prevents students from excessive moving. They can still be active in their own group as they are responsible for their own tasks. I hope this can answer your question. I hope it answer your question, okay? That's all.
Thank you. All right, I hope it answered your question, Mr. Taufik. Anybody has any question to the group? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I guess that's it. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the presenter. Let's move on to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Fikri. Okay, next we will be moving on to our last group for today. Okay, this group will be presenting on application of online website games in home-based learning. This topic will be presented by Zianting, Harry Martin, Muhammad Aspawi, and Muhammad Taufik. Okay, without further ado, let us see what they have prepared for us.
Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. We are from Group 11, and today we are going to talk about our topic, which is application of online website games in home-based learning. Okay, so my name is Muhammad Taufik bin Haji Osman, along with my group members Muhammad Aspawi, Janting, and Harry Martin. So I will begin first. So next, please. Okay, first I am going to talk about the definition of online website games. Okay, so first I am going to talk about technology. So we have to understand about technology first. So what is technology? So the first one is the practical application of knowledge, especially in a particular area. So this is from Merriam-Webster. So it is about where we focus on uh, our practical application on a particular area. I will talk about that more. So the second definition is by Oxford Dictionary, which is machinery and devices developed from scientific knowledge. So of course, when we talk about technology, we are going to talk about machines or devices. But nowadays, it is more than machines and devices. It also includes software and other forms of technology. So I'm going to take one of the definition from Emmanuel Mestin, who's an author of technological change, its impact on man and society. Alright, so he said that technology. We define technology as the organization of knowledge for the achievement of practical purposes. So we use technology to achieve something, and also for practical use. Alright, and also that's why we believe that technology will help us in teaching and learning. Okay, so can move on to the next slide. Okay, for the next slide, I'm going to talk about online website or online website platform or games. Okay, so the first meaning is online games are games or exercise that are played online via the internet. Alright, the internet. So to achieve an online game, we need to have the devices such as a telephone, computer, or laptops. Okay, those three are the devices mainly used nowadays for online games. And we need to play these online games. We also need internet or internet connection for the network. We have to connect to the network to go to this website that offers us the online games. So as a teacher, what can we do? So a teacher can use online games in their teaching by creating an online quiz or group work games. All right, and it's also referred as the gamification of the lesson plan or material, where we make our lesson plan or material into a online gaming platform or online games. Okay, it will help us to increase the students' participation in the lesson, and also the students will also feel motivated and excited to join the class. Okay, so this is based on my own personal experience and also my friends, where nowadays, where because we are work from home and we have to do a lot of online classes, we need to use online games platform to help our students to feel motivated and to be interested to be in our class or lesson. And this one of the proof that I can say is why my students, from 2 to 3 students who join the class, increased to more than 10 students, because I include online games software in online games website in my learning. And my friend will explain more about that. Alright, so next. So here are the few examples of online games learning that I use, and also my friend use, my fellow future teachers. Okay, so of course these games depends on the students level of proficiency. Some games are for students with lower level, and some games are suitable with students of higher level of proficiency. So one of the examples are, a few examples are quizzes, Bluecat, crossword puzzle, Scribble, British Council Learning English, and ESL Games Plus. Alright, so that is all from me. My fellow groupmate will explain for the next slide. Thank you.
Okay, now let me continue my part. My part is the importance of the implementation of online website games in home-based learning. Next slide. Okay, as a whole, there are 4 points of the application in home-based learning. The first one is the key is that game-based online class learning is fun and the students enjoy learning. In our daily life, most of students like playing games in the class. Particular the online class students don't perceive the games as futile and they are interested in participating at home-based learning. Competitive to incentivize students to do their best and correctly apply the concepts developed in class, aligned with the learning outcomes do not make students participate and have fun, but to ensure they can get something useful out of the game. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, from another point of view, oh, the follow the slide. Wait, yeah, yes. Okay, now from the another point of view, online website games create a dynamic for home-based learning students. For the application, it inspires students to develop skills and build an emotion connection to learning and the subject matter. Second one is each student receives immediate feedback on their performance with suggestion on how they might improve through online website games in home-based learning. Throughout games, students can make mistakes, course correct, and revisit concepts, allowing them to better understand course materials and the specific concepts they may struggle with. Next, next slide. Thank you. Okay, there are also many benefits can show the importance of the application. Most of situation, the online classroom is hard to control the classroom management. If teacher use this application in online classroom, the teacher will be easier to manage. And there are also have another benefit is that increase the number of constructive exchange among students, and it may also help weaker students to develop competence through the interaction with their classmates. For example, teacher can use the group-based games in the online class because it's a group work. It will be easier to control the management. That's all from my important points. Thank you. Next present.
Okay, so now I will be presenting about the challenges in the implementation of online website games in home-based learning. Okay. The first challenge is students did not follow the instruction given by the teacher. Okay. In this case, students did not engage with the online language game session as instructed by the teacher. Okay. We know that online home-based learning is very hard to manage because it is very impossible. Yeah, it's impossible for the teachers to ensure that the students are really participating in the online language game session. Okay? Even if we use like uh, online language games website, yeah, the students might not follow the instruction given by the teacher. So here's the thing: the teacher should have a common understanding with the parents, so to ensure their children are participating in the online classroom activity. Yeah. All right. The second point is the challenge. Second challenge is the lack in activity diversity may lead to boredom. Okay. Students, if they are given like too many game type of language learning, okay, activity in the classroom, okay, they might get bored. So teacher need to use various other activities when engaging with students in online classroom. Yeah, because if we want to engage students fully, okay, and holistically, we need to use multiple ways. Okay, not only one game, online website games. Yeah, because that might lead to students getting bored. Yeah. And then the third challenge is online website language game requires strong internet connection for each activity. Okay, this challenge is related with the second one just now. Students feel bored when they can't participate with the activity. Okay, why? One, because they don't have a strong internet connection. Yeah? A strong and stable internet connection is required for this activity, in this kind of activity. So, which most students in rural area does not have the access to. So we can see that if the students are enrolling schools in rural areas, they come from rural areas, the students might not be able to participate with online language games, yeah, in their online classroom. And then the last challenge is it's very time consuming. Okay, yeah, so this kind of this kind of activity, language-based, game-based learning, using online website requires a longer period of time to be executed in the online classroom. So it is unavoidable for the teachers to require extra time to prepare the students, to brief them, give them the instructions, and to even execute the activity. So that is why if we use game-based learning, using online website in language classroom, it will be time consuming. Okay, those are the four challenges that need to be overcome. Okay, so the next presenter.
All right, so now I will be presenting about the innovations of online website game in home-based learning. I will be providing a few examples in this section. All right, next. Okay, the first one is Kahoot, which is one of the most popular website known. Okay, this is one of the most used platform by teachers and even lecturers, right? Because it is it changed how we do quizzes, all right? Because firstly it is fast paced. Okay, you only have a few seconds to answer the questions. And then of course it makes quizzes more interesting and fun, all right? And it is more competitive than regular quizzes, right? Because you can collect points, and then at the end of the quiz you can see who has collected the most out of the others. All right, next. This is the examples of other websites that are similar to the website Kahoot. Right, we have Bluekit and Quizzes. All right, next. Now we have Fluent U. All right, Fluent U is more to improving students' listening and reading skill, because the platform is mainly video based. It contains music videos, movie trailers, talk shows, okay, maybe some clips of movies or other online videos. All right. The interesting thing about this platform is that there are captions in the videos. Okay, as you can see in the example, all right, the big captions, and then on top of that, the captions are interactive. For example, you can click on one of the words, for example, the word searching, and then it will provide some kind of definition, and then another example of the word. All right, next. Next, we have Visual Thesaurus Spelling Bee. Okay, this is to improve students' vocabulary and spelling. Okay, it uses scores to increase competitiveness. The way we use this platform is that you play the word, and then you try to type it. You try to spell it. Okay, you play an audio of the word and then you try to spell it. The way the teachers can use this is that okay, maybe the students can go to the website and do a few rounds of the game, and then they can screenshot the marks and then give to the teachers. Next. Okay, now we have the grammar of do. All right, this makes learning grammar more interesting. Okay, because as you can see, it almost like a puzzle. Okay, in the example in the slide, you can see begin, began, and begun. Okay, what you have to do is you have to click on the variations of the word begin. Okay, like for example, if you answered wrong, then you can just retry. Okay, what's special about this platform is that it makes learning grammar feels like an adventure, like an Indiana Jones type of adventure. All right. Next. Okay, so this is the end of our presentation. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, presenters. It was such a nice innovation from Group 11. Okay, for me, this topic is very interesting as we, the future teacher, also cannot deny the fact that online game website can be very helpful for the teachers, especially to encourage students' participation. Okay, without wasting our time, we will move on to the Q&A session. Audience can ask question by turning your mic, or you can also write down your question on the chat box. Is there any question for group 11?
Me.
Wow, okay. What's that? Okay, please ask. Okay, what is your question?
I would like to ask a question. How will you apply the innovation you have stated just now with students that have poor internet connectivity? Can I
Okay,
choose?
present this. Oh, you want to choose? Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to choose Harry.
Okay. Harry, are you there? Okay, Harry is there.
Okay, thank you, friend, for the question. And the answer is yes, it still can be implemented, okay, but it need a little bit of modification. All right. For example, if you use gamification in lesson, you can do project-based learning. Yeah. So for students with poor internet connection, you use project-based learning. Yeah, with the element of gamification inside it. For example, you can apply treasure hunt activity. Yeah. I love treasure hunting activity, so I apply it to my class. And then also you can, solving crime cases activity. Yeah. And of course, all the stated activity is related with language learning. Okay, my friend?
Okay, that's it from Harry. I hope Harry's answer can answer Ikuma's question. Okay, is there any question? Okay, thank you, Harry. Thank you, Ikuma. Okay, is there any question from other audience? Okay, if there is no more question, I will pass the floor to our host. That is all from the last group today. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Johanna. Everyone, okay, you guys have done a very good job. So let's clap our hands. Okay.
Okay, for that, we have come to the end of the webinar. We would like to thank to all participants and the audience for joining in our innovation in teaching and learning webinar.
We would also would like to thank to thank to our audience from YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in, even though it's a very humble webinar. We really enjoyed every presentation done by our friends today. So okay, we really hope that that the innovations would help all of us, student teachers and also future teachers, to make our teaching and learning better, as it is very crucial for teachers to be creative and innovative. Uh, since we need to become an effective teacher. Does am I right, Amira?
Yes, you are right. Therefore, before we end our webinar here, we would like to apologize for any technical issue and any problem that you might face along the way the webinar is held. We also would like to give a massive thank you to everyone.
Okay, so before we end, we would like to have a photography session. So let's all turn on the camera and let's take a picture. Okay, so I will go for the layout. Okay, alright, so we only can have like 30 people here. Okay, so everyone's ready?
Yes.
Okay, so alright, let me. Okay. Alright, so in count of 3, I will screenshot. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, another one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah. Alright. Okay. So, that marks the end of the webinar. Thank you very much
Yeay, dah habis.
for joining in. Okay. I am.
Congrats everyone.
Okay. Alright. So I am Nova Binti Mama Rasid.
And I am Amir binti Mama Yaakob.
Wow.
Here we
end the
program.
with thank you
And goodbye.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Pika.
Thank you,
Lah.
everyone.
Selamat Hari Raya Taufik. Selamat Raya.
Thank you everyone. You guys did a great job.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you everyone.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.